Thank you, Senator Sheen. Senator Risch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Patterson, I had a series of questions for you on on Syria and on Egypt and others, but I'm going to set those aside because I've got to tell you, I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked to sit here and have you describe the sanctions against Iran after you have reviewed them, as you said, as in your conclusion that they've been effective, and you described them as successful. You know, I'm one that was a sponsor of those. I promoted them. I had reservations about them, but I got to tell you, if this is the administration's view that these have been effective and successful, I hope you'll take the message back to the State Department that this is not a mission accomplished moment. I think they've been an abject failure. You heard the chairman describe about the new centrifuges they brought in, about the new technology they're using. I mean, I don't understand this. I mean, I'm taken aback by your description of what the sanctions have done. These sanctions were not put in place to impose some kind of pain or something like that. They were imposed to change conduct. They were imposed in order to make conduct different. They've been an abject failure in that response, and I would really hope that you and the administration, if that's their position, would rethink this.
Senator Risch, I certainly didn't mean to imply that they have been successful in changing behavior, but they've certainly been very successful at causing pain in the Iranian economy, and hopefully they will be successful in bringing Iran to the table to discuss these other issues, to actually affect behavior. And I totally understand your point that it's not just to cause pain in the economy, but also to change behavior. But causing pain in the economy is how sanctions work. I mean, the reduction in oil revenue has been dramatic. Cutting them off from the international financial system has made it almost impossible for them to export or trade. And again, the distress in the population, which we think had an impact on President Rouhani's election. So it needs time for diplomacy to work. We think there's still time. But let me again stress, Senator Risch, the President's position that Iran will not acquire a nuclear weapon. But I certainly understand your point. Well, and let me say that I absolutely understand. What matters is results and not just economic pain.
Well, as we all know in this diplomatic business, vocabulary is important. I would hope you would remove the word success and you'd remove the words effective from the vocabulary when you're talking about this program, because they are not in any way, shape, or form successful or effective in making these people comply with the conduct that the world demands of them. So I'd hope you'd review that and instead go back to the point that we were going to try these things first. We were going to try sanctions first, but that all options are on the table. And every day that goes by, it looks more and more as if we're going to have to turn to other options, which we don't want to do, the world doesn't want to do, and I guarantee you when we're done, the Iranian people aren't going to want to do. So I really hope that you'll revisit the language and the adjectives and the vocabulary that we're using. Let me just finish up with something that's much more parochial, and I understand this is difficult to do in an open setting as opposed to a classified setting. But I have a constituent, Pastor Abedini, that you're familiar with, who's been held now for 418 days in prison in Iran for doing nothing but being a Christian and speaking about Christian matters. I understand we don't have diplomatic relationships with the country, and we all know how difficult the relationship is. And we also understand that there's other channels that we can't talk about here. But I hope you will take back the message again to the State Department how important it is that this man be released from prison for doing something that the world doesn't condone, and that is simply for exercising his religious freedom. And my time's up, and I thank you, Mr. Chairman.